This is France, an EU heavyweight. Not only does it boast the second largest population and economy within the EU, but it also stands as one of the most influential countries in the bloc. With a whopping 81 seats out of 720 in the European Parliament, France isn't just participating, it is leading the charge, holding more than 11% of total seats. Only Germany, with its larger population, holds more seats. Therefore, when France goes to the polls for the EU elections on June the 9th, it matters. So if you're French, make sure you participate. So who can the French vote for? Here's a super quick rundown on the major players, from largest to the smallest, according to the latest polls. Le Pen's National Rally, a right-wing populist party, currently leads with 31% of support. Historically Eurosceptic, they have shifted from advocating for a Frexit and leaving NATO to seeking reforms within the EU and maintaining NATO membership. While Le Pen has publicly condemned Russia's actions in Ukraine, her party's voting record reveals opposition to sanctions and military aid, and she recently abstained from voting on a French security agreement with Ukraine. The party opposes Ukraine's membership in the EU and NATO, and faces accusations of being pro-Putin, especially given past financial ties to Russia. Domestically, they advocate for strict immigration control and left-leaning economic policies, aiming to represent the ordinary person. Macron's centrist Liberal Renaissance Party holds 18% support. They are very pro-EU, advocating for a European-centered approach to defense, clean energy, and new technologies. The party has recently toughened its stance on the Russia-Ukraine war, suggesting that all support options, including sending European troops, are on the table. Renaissance has long advocated for EU strategic autonomy, especially important with the potential return of a Trump presidency. Additionally, the party has recently adopted stricter migration policies and is pro-EU enlargement if all requirements are met. The center-left Socialist Party holds 11% support. Once a dominant French force, it struggled following Hollande's unpopular presidency. The party is pro-EU, advocating for enhanced military capabilities among member states, increased arms supplies to Ukraine, and the development of a European defense system. They aim to reform agriculture with a new, fair and sustainable common agricultural policy. And they want to address the rising living costs by, for example, capping energy prices. When it comes to migration, their approach is a little softer, with a focus on regularizing workers in irregular situations and human rights. While voting is obviously crucial, another way to influence Europe is by signing EU citizen initiatives, like the EU Live Bus Stop Info. Have you ever stood by a bus stop, playing the guessing game of whether your bus missed you or you missed your bus? Imagine a world where there's a QR code at each bus stop in all 27 EU member states that gives you real-time bus schedules, routes, delays, and updates right at your fingertips. Imagine not wasting any more time by not knowing whether your bus will actually come to pick you up. Therefore, if you support this initiative, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description below. By signing, you will make your voice heard, and you'll help countless of Europeans getting from A to B. Now back to politics. The left-wing Europe Ecology, the Greens, hold 8% of support. They are also pro-EU and want to continue to support Ukraine with artillery and air defense. They seek a peaceful, free EU, focus on citizens' prosperity and climate sustainability, and aim to make Europe the first climate-neutral continent in the world. In terms of migration, they call for more humanitarian aid in crisis areas and want a long-term, fair European asylum policy. In fact, they claim France is not doing enough to take in their fair share of displaced people. The right-wing Republicans hold 7% of support and are pro-EU, advocating for continued massive support to Ukraine, but oppose EU enlargement. They propose that each EU member state should allocate at least 3% of its GDP to defense annually, thereby strengthening the NATO framework. On migration, the Republicans advocate for significantly strengthening the EU's external borders, facilitating expulsion of those in irregular situations, and making the European social model less appealing. They also support processing migration procedures in third countries. The left-wing populist party, France Unbowed, is at 7% and are soft Eurosceptics, mainly because they perceive the EU as too economically liberal. They are pushing for a ceasefire in Ukraine and Gaza, but are historically against raising defense budgets. In terms of migration, they want France to uphold the dignity and human rights of refugees, emphasizing solidarity, protection of vulnerable groups, humane border controls, and legal sea rescues. Now, all the individuals shown below are leading candidates from their political parties, but none are likely to become the Commission President, a role that Ursula von der Leyen from Germany is most likely to get again. I know this is only a high-level overview, and for a more detailed analysis, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll dive deeper into each party's policies as the EU election on June the 9th approaches. There are numerous other political parties in France, but it's important to note that most are polling below 5%. In France, there's a 5% threshold for parliamentary representation, so parties receiving less than 5% of the vote won't secure any seats in the EU Parliament. Now, you might be wondering, how do these poll numbers actually turn into seats at the European Parliament? Well, we've crunched the numbers for you, and the National Rally would get the most seats, 29, followed by Renaissance with 17 seats, and then the Socialists with 10. Bear in mind that there's still a small margin of error, as parties in the other column could get 5% and therefore take some seats from the parties on the screen. But the real question is, what happens next on the European stage? Well, here's where it gets very interesting. In EU politics, national parties like the National Rally, Renaissance, or the Socialists don't directly pull the strings. For instance, there isn't a National Rally party sitting in Ireland, or a Renaissance party in Romania. Instead, Europe works a bit differently, through political families or groups. For instance, France's National Rally has aligned with similar parties across Europe, such as Germany's AfD and Italy's Lega, and many more other national EU parties to form a coalition known as the Identity and Democracy Group, or in short, ID. Here's how French parties connect with European political groups. The National Rally would contribute 29 projected seats to the ID group. Renaissance brings 17 seats to the Renew Europe group. The Socialist Party adds 11 seats to the S&D group. Europe Ecology takes 7 seats to the European Greens. The Republicans join the EPP. France Unbowed aligns with the left. And Reconquest brings 5 seats to the ECR. The European Parliament has 720 seats in total, with current projections of the next elections showing the EPP as the largest group, followed by the S&D, ID, Renew Europe, ECR, the Greens, and then finally, the left. Now, if we blend in the current EU Parliament seat distribution, you can clearly see the remarkable rise of the ID group to 87 seats, placing them in third, ahead of Renew Europe, where Macron's Renaissance Party is a member. The National Rally has shown significant gains, while Macron's party is underperforming, which is clearly influencing the potential outcome of the European elections. And here's something crucial for all French voters to understand. Casting a vote for your national party, like the National Rally, isn't just about local preferences, it's also an indirect vote for the ID group. This is significant, because being part of ID, where Germany's AfD and Italy's Lega have substantial influence, might require National Rally to compromise on some of their ideas. And this is where my channel wants to help. We are actually creating 7 videos, one for each political group, to explain in a lot of detail what their vision for Europe is. So for example, do you like the Republicans? Then check out this video on the EPP group to whom they are aligned. Or do you like the Socialist Party? Then check out this video on the S&D group to whom they are aligned. If you like National Rally or Renaissance, then please subscribe to the channel, as in the coming weeks we will release a video explaining both the ID group and Renew Europe group. Thank you so much to our contributor for this video. Thank you so much for watching.